118 dockets, you make the statement that in its life, therefore, the PKTT was never effective. I'm just trying to understand whether you confine yourself to the 118, or you're saying since it was formed in 2018, it was never effective.
Well, I'm going to speak as an experienced investigating officer now from my corner, not in connection with the PKTT alone. I'm saying, even though the PKTT provided documents and they can put their dockets here and they say these are our successes, I have a document that I've prepared that along the way we are going to discuss about it, where I say I've got so many cases that are between 1 year and 5 years. I want to know, why do we still have a docket as long as between 1 year and 5 years? Why do I have a docket that is between, how many dockets in the country per province? That says, I've got so many dockets that are between let's say 5 years and 10 years. Why do we have so many dockets? The reason why I'm taking this route, commissioners, I want to say, the fact that they say to you, remember they prepared the report, that's it, these are our successes. But you may find that the success they spoke about, a docket that was supposed to have been completed in 2 years was completed in 5 years. It does not necessarily mean that they are effective still, even though it was a success. To me, a successful and a very strong team, I say, and that is what is the report that we produced, that was approved even by the National Commissioner, to say, I have so many dockets in respective environments that are, you find that, let's say in crime intelligence, we've got dockets that are 20 years old and over. Now, I ask myself a question, why do I have a docket that is 20 years old?
Okay. Let me interrupt you, because I think you're going wider than what I was seeking clarification on. We will come back to it, but let me maybe highlight this to explain my question. What I wanted to understand, and I'm not asking you to respond now, we can deal with it later, is you have highlighted from this report a number of cases by year that were last investigated, and you highlight them to demonstrate that as you say in paragraph 127, that in fact they were not as effective and successful as they have claimed to be. That's how I've understood what you were doing with that table. And my question was, do you, on the basis of what you have highlighted or what you have found in this report, is it the sole basis on which you say they were not effective since they were formed? I want to suggest to you, because of how you're answering, I want to suggest to you that pack it, because I know there will be a much more detailed discussion about this, and pack it and keep it in mind, and then we'll get back to it at that time. But that's really what I'm asking you. Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Paragraph
128.
128. General Mkwanazi has now gone so far as to claim that the relevant arrests were effected within a week of the dockets being returned to KwaZulu-Natal. This assertion is, with respect, incongruous and unimpressive when one has regard to the fact that there were no signed J50 forms in respect of these dockets, coupled with the fact that the PKTT had possession of arrest instructions for more than 3 years without acting on them. The suggestion that it suddenly acted with exceptional efficiency once the dockets were returned to KZN is implausible and calls into question the credibility of that claim. My worry is that, I think we've also heard the National Commissioner said, people are being arrested now that the docket have been returned to KZN. But those if indeed it is those documents, the dockets that we are talking about, they were there for more than 3 years without being arrested. But be that as it may, in paragraph 129, more significantly, General Mkhwanazi has not disclosed to this commission or to the public why these arrests were not effected when they should have been, and why the last recorded day of investigation in these dockets date back as far as 3 years ago, notwithstanding that the suspects were already identified and named. Furthermore, emphasis must be placed on the fact that when General Sintumule attempted to transfer the docket back to KZN as contemplated by General Khumalo's action plan presented on 6 of March 2025, General Mkhwanazi refused to accept them into the province. Accordingly, it is his refusal that directly contributed to the delay in advancing the investigations and not my conduct. Commissioners, General Sintumule was here, and she also said they were not meant to be kept at head office. They were in transit to go to KZN, but when she made a call to General Mkhwanazi rejected them. Chairperson, with respect, allow me to raise this one. I'm not being critical, but I'm just putting it with respect, Chair. When the Chair says, I don't know who gave an instruction, when they said General Mkhwanazi rejected the docket because he felt that this docket, he didn't know how they left the province, and the Chair said, I can put myself in General Mkhwanazi's shoes. I can put myself in General Mkhwanazi's shoes because this docket were taken, I was not told, I didn't know how. I still believe, Chair, that 2 wrongs doesn't make a right. The fact that these dockets come from that province and now they say they are coming back, you can't say I don't want them. Now, then Commissioner Khumalo says, all of you must accept that you failed the people of South Africa and you must apologize. I am the very first one to stand up. Immediately after, when this thing exploded to the media, I realized that we are now embarrassing ourselves, we are embarrassing the police, we are putting the police into disrepute, we are embarrassing government. And then I said to the people of South Africa, I really apologize that we have to go through this, and we as the management of the police, we have to do this to the people of South Africa. I'm the first one to say I apologize. I was even mocked. They created the body of a dead person who says, I apologize. But I apologize because to me, it's an embarrassment. Commissioner, I come back 37 years old, 37 years doing this job. Now, to me, I felt embarrassed, and I grew up the rank. Like all of them, there's no a single detective, especially in the DPCI, who can say to you, all of them have worked under me, all of them. In the whole country, as we speak. Now, I'm just saying, it's not like I'm talking from somewhere who doesn't know what he's doing. I apologize, I felt bad. I qualify, I have the qualifications for the position that I'm in. Even the one of the hawks that was advertised, they put the qualifications, I applied because I have the qualifications. So I'm just saying, Commissioner, I apologized, but I wanted to address this fact that says, the fact that General Mkhwanazi rejected those dockets on its own shouldn't have been allowed. The National Commissioner was supposed to say, General, we have the dockets here. We already agreed to the minister that this docket must go there. And now we cannot say no when the docket must come because we already agreed to the minister in terms of the action plan. But the National Commissioner didn't do that. Instead, what he did, he said, let General Sibia then apply his mind and maybe make sure that this docket receive attention. That's when we had to then apply, because of the fact that we can't send people from Gauteng to KZN to the place they don't know. And they need to be backed up, to be supported. They need to sleep at the hotel. And some of them, they will start now studying the docket, then going to meet people. Now, it's a process. And that was caused by what? By the fact that General Mkhwanazi said, no, I don't want this docket in my province. That's the cause of the delay of everything. But I don't say I'm distancing myself from the confusion. Commissioners, I'm not saying I didn't participate. I accept my role in the whole confusion. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Let me proceed.
You have paragraph 131.
My reinstatement to SAPS and appointment as the Deputy National Commissioner. General Mkhwanazi sought to make much of the fact that the SAPS did not oppose my appeal to the Labour Court, challenging the Labour Court decision not to grant my reinstatement request, after the Labour Court had found my dismissal to be substantively and procedurally unfair, and further that approximately a year after my reinstatement, I was appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner. This emphasis is misplaced and misleading. The police fired me unlawfully so, and I challenged, and General Mkhwanazi, and the court agreed with me that he made a false statement under oath, and that he lacks honor and integrity, and that I was falsely accused and everything. And the police then tried to object to my reinstatement. They even mentioned the fact that his position has already been filled. The judge said, no, even if it's been filled, the police, you can still place him somewhere. Even myself, I said, I don't mind going back. Even if you put me somewhere in a corner and give a chair, I'll sit there as long as I'm back at the police, because this is where my career is. That's why I left there, came back to the police, because it was a long outstanding court battle at the Labour Appeal Court. And when the Labour Appeal Court gave me that option, I grabbed it. By portraying these events as if they were irregular or suggestive of wrongdoing, General Mkhwanazi distorts their true significance and seek to impugn my integrity without factual basis. While I cannot speak to the reasons why SAPS elected not to oppose my appeal, I am aware that such a decision would have been taken on the basis of its own legal advice and internal considerations. The uncontested fact remains that the Labour Appeal Court found my dismissal unfair and ordered that I be reinstated at the position. I would have been as if I never left. SAPS took a decision not to pursue an unmeritorious opposition of the appeal, and my later appointment complied with not only all applicable procedures and standards, but with the Labour Appeal Court. So,
Labour Appeal Court order.
The Labour Appeal Court order, yes. That's the Labour Appeal Court order. The Labour Court actually ruled in my favor, but didn't reinstate. I was still not happy, and then I went back and said, but Judge, you said all the right things about me, that I was unlawfully, and you mentioned everything, that it was unfair and procedural, but you don't reinstate me. And the judge said, no, go back to work. And I must say, to me, the excitement of just going back to the work, because I joined the police when I was 20 years old. I was very young, and I grew up in the police. Now, where I was earning comfortably more than even the National Commissioner. But because of my work is to fight crime, and I grew up in the police, I was not comfortable to work in a political environment like in the city of Joburg, just because there's money. I opted to go back with the hope that they are not going to take my salary down. But when I came to the police then, we were negotiating my salary, because they said to me, you cannot come here and you want to earn a salary more than the national commissioner. And then I wasn't signing because I was still going between the lawyer and to them, but they want to take my salary down. Then they said, okay, sign here so that at least a month and you are in the court, you are going to get your salary. Then they started with 1.5. That's what happened. Then I started there with a hope that we'll negotiate my salary. I never got to get to that point because along the way I was then promoted, which took my salary almost closer. Then I kept quiet because I was then running, doing my work on a daily basis. I'm proceeding. I know I'm wasting your time, evidence. The way you look at me, I'm worried sometimes. You threaten me.
We have limited time, General. Let's continue.
Yeah, I see. And when I look at you, I get worried. General Mkhwanazi's attempt to characterize this reinstatement and appointment as untoward or irregular is therefore unfounded. More importantly, it reflects either a fundamental misunderstanding of the legal effects of the court order, or a deliberate effort to cast a lawful process in an adverse light. In either event, the attempt is unwarranted, and when viewed in the broader context of the evidence telling, I further refer the Commission to paragraph 23 to 29 of this affidavit. General Mkhwanazi further takes issue with the fact that my appointment as Deputy National Commissioner occurred approximately 1 year after my reinstatement to SAPS, seemingly to suggest that the timing of the appointment reflects adversely on my suitability. This criticism overlooks my demonstrable permanence during the intervention period and is unwarranted.
Keep going.
Now, what I want to point out, I was promoted to become a Major General in 2010. General Mkhwanazi was promoted to become a Major General in 2011. 4 months into his new appointment, he was appointed to be the acting National Commissioner of the Police. And there were concerns raised by the Lieutenant Generals and the Deputy National Generals and say, this is our subordinate. We can't stand up when he walks in, and he just got promoted now. Overnight, he was promoted to become a Deputy Lieutenant General. Overnight. So that he can continue to act as the National Commissioner. Of which was removed within, I think, 7 months into that position. Because what I want to say is that
Does his testimony not say that he opted out? Am I mistaken?
I choose to disagree, Chair.
All right, let's.
Yes, I choose to disagree on that one.
All right, thank you.
Yes, but be that as it may, Chair, he's querying the fact that I was appointed a general from 2010, and I was reinstated as if I never left to 2022, which makes it something like 13 years, a Major General. But where I was a head of department still. I progressed. I was working very hard wherever I've been. Now, for him to say I was not supposed to have been promoted, it's as if I could say, look who is talking. Because I was promoted in 2010, was promoted in 2011. But the fact that he was promoted into acting as a national commissioner due to political reasons or political intervention, because it's a presidential prerogative as to who he appoints, maybe, but the person must be competent and suitable. They appointed General Mkhwanazi. And the procedure in the police that you must at least stay 2 years in a rank before you can be promoted to the next rank. Now, in 2011, he became a Major General. But within 2011, he became an acting National Commissioner. And as the other seniors objected, within a night, overnight, he became a major, a lieutenant general. That made him now to be able to continue acting as the national commissioner.
And which year is this? The promotion is in 2011?
2011.
Still 2011.
Still 2011. That's the period I was deeply involved in the Richard Mdluli matter. At some point, I attended a meeting with him to go and see President Zuma in relation to the same Richard Mdluli matter. So I just want to end there. So,
Paragraph 136.
following my return, I was appointed as component head, organized crime. In that capacity, I revitalized the National Organized Crime Secretariat, re-establishing it as a functional national forum through which all provinces to coordinate and reported on organized crime project during this period. The number of active organized crime projects increased from 24 to 74, accompanied by a marked improvement in overall organizational performance within the organized crime environment. The interval between my reinstatement and subsequent promotion to Deputy National Commissioner therefore reflects a period of demonstrable service and performance at a senior level, rather than any lack of suitability for appointment. It is telling that despite a demonstrable record of performance and institutional confidence, the criticism persists and is directed at peripheral considerations rather than merit.
Now, General, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like from paragraph 139 to paragraph 151, it looks like you have already dealt with the content of those paragraphs. Do you want to just run your eyes through them and see if you agree? Of course, the heading, let's place the heading on record, my time at City of Johannesburg.
May I ask for the judge guidance in this regard? Why I'm saying this, Judge, the chairperson's guidance. To me, the City of Joburg is really a non-issue. And it's in fact a disturbance. Why I'm saying this? I found myself facing disciplinary hearing, facing criminal investigation, facing ad hoc commission, facing the Madlanga Commission. All of these people, every day, I'm going to that lawyer to meet this one for labor, I'm going to that one to meet this one for this one. Every day someone is talking about you, you've got to listen to this one. This one was talking about you, you've got to listen to you. I call the lawyer and say, please listen to so-and-so talking to me. They say, we can't sit and listen, we've got to wait for the commission to send us the statement. Now, this side issue of the City of Joburg, it's matters that were investigated, re-investigated, double investigated again by other role players, public protectors, the Hawks, Lord, with the same person complaining, refusing to accept the results. Now, to me, I'm sitting here wasting my time on having to respond to the issues of City of Joburg, where they were ventilated and they were investigated properly. Even the Hawks investigated and the DPP declined to prosecute. The public protector cleared me. There's been many legal. So I just want to say, if the chairperson is saying, look, we are comfortable, I will walk through and leave it. But this is a thing that I was prepared to address once and for all, because there's no grabber, there's no spying equipment. These are the allegations. There's no corruption that I was ever involved in the city of Joburg. To me, it's a complete waste of time to deal with the city of Joburg at this point in time.
Ms. Killian, do you wish to comment on this?
I think what we've heard up to now, Chair, covers most of the topics that were ventilated by other witnesses, and I think we can move on to paragraph 158.
Or not even 152, to 158. 150, oh, sorry, 155.
Can I come in, Chair?
Yes.
I think it's paragraph 155.
Just a minute. 150, 155. Thank you. 155, General.
Thank you, Chair. When I was asking, Chair, whether I can come in, if there's going to be any question that comes from the city of Joburg in relation to the city of Joburg, then it compels me to go through my statement. But if the chairperson says we have dealt with it and we are happy, then I can say let's go. But if at some point I'm going to be expected to respond to the city of Joburg, like I'm saying, to me, really the city of Joburg is just one of those distractions that I'm facing. It's being pushed to just distract me and keep me more busy than what I'm facing now.
No, the point is more this, General. Because sometimes you go ahead of the part of the narrative where you are. So you end up dealing with parts of your statement that come later. You end up dealing with those earlier. So it's on that basis that we say we think you have dealt with the parts that we referred to. That cannot mean that you will not be questioned on those parts. If there's a need for you to be questioned on those parts, you will. And I don't think you will be prejudiced because you know the story. You know about Joburg, and you say you've been engaged about it by so many persons and entities. So you know about it. It's not as if you'll be taken by surprise if you are questioned on it. Am I making sense?
You do, Chair, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm ready to proceed.
Thank you. 155, then start with the heading.
Maybe before you do that, General, let me just clarify something so that there's no confusion, at least in my head. When you spoke earlier, and I'm asking just to clarify, not because I think there's any significance to it. It comes from what you said. You were speaking about General Mkwanazi's comments about your promotion after you returned, and then you said something about, I think you said policy is that you get promoted, there's no, within 2 years or something. Can you just explain that?
If you were promoted now and you were made to be let's say a brigadier, you've got to stay at least 2 years in that rank before you can start applying for another position or be promoted to the next level. Okay. But 2 years is where you need to push for that. In other words, if I was promoted as a Major General in 2010, within 2011, and all of a sudden I'm again promoted, it's considered to be an irregular appointment. Okay. And that is why you had one of the witnesses testifying in the ad hoc commission about the possible appointment, I think General Kumalo, if I'm not sure, but I don't want to get into that space because it's not my testimony.
Yes, and you say General Mkwanazi was promoted outside of that policy, or contrary to that policy?
Yes, because he was promoted in 2011. Yeah. And then within that year, he was promoted to become the acting national commissioner. Okay. And then within a day, I think a day or two, was then promoted to become a lieutenant general.
Okay. The reason I ask, and you can say if it is a typo, and I'm really trying to see if it's a hard and fast rule that was complied with all the time. In your statement, you explain that you returned to the SEPS in 2022 July in the role of in the position of, or rank rather, of Major General. And then in the next paragraph, you say in July 2023, which is a year later, you were then promoted to Lieutenant General. That seems to suggest that rule was not consistently applied in the SEPs.
No, I think the commissioner is making a mistake. Remember, I was promoted as a Major General in 2010,
Okay,
and I was reinstated
as a Major General.
as a Major General, as
Okay.
if I never left.
Okay, I understand.
So which means it comes all the way.
Okay, now I'm answered. I'm answered. Thanks for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can now go to 155.
One page?
155.
155.
And you can start with the heading.
Chair, as she told me to go through to 155, and when I see this, I know I've addressed it, but when I look at, for instance, 152, when I say a case against me, no, Chair, what I was saying is, what is the Chair saying?
We were discussing issues around what time we should break for the day. Please continue with the point you were making.
What I wanted to say, Chair, is that she says I must go to 155, and which is fine. And I also see that what is here is what I've addressed, but I want to say 152. A case against me was indeed investigated by the Hawks under case number 415 of 6/2022 in relation to the allegations of fraud for the procurement of TSCM equipment. On 12 August 2022, I authored a letter to General Masemola notifying him of this investigation and requesting him to assist me in having the investigation expedited, as I believe seemed to be malicious and an attempt to malign my reputation. A copy of this letter is attached here to us, marked as SS 26. The Director of Public Prosecution declined to prosecute. Now, when you read, and I wanted to read this SS 26 into the matter, you will understand why I'm saying it's SS 26.
Three of 10, General.
3
File 3 of 10.
of 10. We have it. 3 of 10, I've got it.
432.
Right. This is the letter that I wrote on the 12th of August 2022. I think it was before I even came back to the police.
You say you came back in July.
No, I came
And the
back in
letter is in
July.
Au-
This one
is
it's
in
August
August.
2022. I don't know. Yes, but I wrote this letter to the national head, to the National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Masemola, and I also wrote it to National Head Lieutenant General G.S. Lebeya of the DPCI. Request for intervention, Hillbrook case 415, and the allegations of fraud, procurement of technical surveillance countermeasure equipment, TSCM, City of Joburg. Now, this letter, it contains a lot of the information that I spoke about, and then I was talking about investigations undertaken that led to these charges against me, because I investigated a lot of people there. Some of them affected the then city manager, and who also then took away my powers. I went to court, and the powers reinstated my powers. But of importance, what I wanted to say is that the people that I investigated were the ones who were now taking my powers. But why I wrote a letter to the National Commissioner, the point of concern, I'm going to only focus on the point of concern. Say, corrupt individuals within the city of Joburg are using members of the police service to conduct investigation to put me under scrutiny. Despite being cleared by the SSA and Moody and Robertson report, I was told by Major General Kadwa that the SSA is not the alpha and omega upon inquiring about the progress made in the investigation. It is common cause that this is a political matter and not a clear-cut administrative investigation process. Police are failing to run with the matter and deal with it for what it is, but simply fighting and creating more confusion. This cannot be allowed to continue. All the efforts to make a conclusive finding that determines any wrongdoing on my part has not been finalized to date. However, there seems to be a concerted effort aimed at still pushing this matter for further investigation, and it is unclear as to what the motive or at least the intent is in this respect. Mr. Mesuli Mlando is making all manner of spurious allegations and working with a rogue city and some police officials who to sow the seeds of doubt against my clearance on the allegations. All these actions are attempts to cast aspersions on my integrity, both in the SAPS, the city of Joburg, national and international. The investigation conducted by the Hawks is progressing at a snail's pace when the SSA, Moody and Robertson investigation reports are available for perusal. The last one says, the matter is worrying in that it is being politicized and used as a tool for distraction. There is clearly no wrongdoing from my side. This is just an intent to investigate even other parts of my life by using the investigation as an entry point, and I find this to be extremely unfair. These allegations, in the main, are directed at creating an impression that I have procured and used alleged spy equipment against people of interest. My credibility and integrity are being put into question unnecessarily. The reason why I'm saying this, Chair, is that in the police, when, let's say, for instance, you have applied for a position, or they don't want you to get to that point, they make allegations and they will open a case and say, we are running an investigation, we are investigating, and they will keep it. That is why you will hear, I've been under investigation since I came back into the police. I have other documents that were given to me where they said we were looking into you, we were investigating you, we found nothing. But since I came back, you will hear crime intelligence saying, no, the investigation is at an advanced stage. We are still investigating. I've been under investigation for a very long time, even to date, and I know I'm being investigated. But as early as last year, early January, I was told by a journalist who said, we are being asked to run a narrative or about your imminent arrest because, so we want your side of the story. Are you involved with drug cartels? Since as early as last year, are you involved with drug cartels? Are you involved in drugs? I don't know if I look like someone who's involved in drugs, commissioners, but I've never been involved in drugs. I don't work with drug cartels. If there's any voice, any role I've played, it's okay. I will be charged. But at this point in time, my worry is when an investigation is being kept and saying we are investigating, and it's getting nowhere. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, General. Ms. Hassim Meskilian, we are thinking of taking a 5-minute break, come back and sit until 5. Would that be fine?
That's fine with me, Chair.
We're also available, thank you, Chair.
All right. Let's adjourn and come back at 8 minutes past. Let's adjourn.
It seems that the relief is taking a few more minutes. Looks like we're ready to start. Cell phones off, please.
Thank you, Chair. General, I think you've made your point on paragraph 152, and we now have SS 26. Can we move now to paragraph 155?
Your mic, General.
My apology, Chair. 155, conversation extracted from Vusimusiket Matlala's phone pertaining to my name. General Mkhwanazi has further sought to rely on alleged WhatsApp messages said to have been extracted from a cellular telephone reportedly removed from one Vusimusiket Matlala, which messages are alleged to contain references to me. I place on record that I was not a participant in those conversations, as it is evident from the material relied upon. My name is merely mentioned. I did not form part of the messaging group or the exchanges themselves. The conversations in question are said to be between one Brown Mokgotsi and Matlala, in which my name is purportedly referenced. I have no knowledge or involvement in those exchanges and no information as to how these alleged messages were extracted, preserved, or presented to the Commission. It is entirely unclear how these messages were obtained, what methodology was employed in their extraction, and whether their integrity and authenticity have been preserved. Accordingly, I am unable to confirm the authenticity, accuracy, or context of these purported WhatsApp communications and cannot speak to their legitimacy, completeness, or reliability. Any attempt to rely on these alleged messages as evidence against me is therefore misleading and unfair, as it attributes to me statements and discussions in which I played no part
Yes.
whatsoever. Other inconsistencies noted in General Mkhwanazi's evidence. Another challenging aspect is that the evidence of General Mkhwanazi raises material concerns in my view. It is notable that he did not inform this commission that there had been an attempt to return the docket to KwaZulu-Natal, which he refused to accept. The fact only emerged during the ad hoc committee proceedings, and even then, only after I had mentioned it, because this is how I corrected. Here he says only after he was expressly prompted. I expressed it there. It was not information that he volunteered to this commission. This omission is difficult to ignore and warrant scrutiny. In his press briefing held on 6 July, General Mkhwanazi stated that during 2024, he received a request from the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit to provide assistance in an investigation aimed at dismantling an organized crime syndicate. According to his statement, the syndicate was controlled from Gauteng but operated in the rest of the country and across other neighboring countries. General Mkhwanazi further stated that in his capacity as a provincial commissioner, he took a decision to deploy 10 members from the PKTT to support the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit in that investigation. In his testimony before his commission on 17 September 2025, General Mkhwanazi presented a materially different version. On that occasion, he stated that it was in fact General Khumalo in his capacity as Divisional Commissioner Crime Intelligence who, after registering a counterintelligence case, requested law enforcement support from outside the Gauteng province. According to this version, the purpose of the deployment was to ensure that the investigation conducted by the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit was protected. The divergence between General Mkhwanazi's public statement of 6 July 2025 and his sworn statement before this commission on 17 September 2025 raises a material issue regarding the reliability of his account. It is possible that the version presented by General Mkhwanazi before this commission was influenced by the fact that following his press briefing of 6 July 2025, Brigadier Hopane, the provincial head of organized crime for Gauteng, categorically denied that she had requested any form of assistance from General Mkhwanazi. In that context, the later version attributing the request to General Khumalo and to a counterintelligence investigation may have been advanced to address or explain that denial. These are the peripheral issues. The inconsistencies necessarily bears on the credibility and weight to be attached to his evidence and underscores the need for the Commission to assess the evidence with a particular care and to evaluate the consistency, reliability, and corroboration of the version presented. Now I'm getting to allegations made by the National Commissioner. I now proceed to address and canvass the allegations made by the National Commissioner during his testimony before the Commission from 22nd September 2023, 22 September to 23 September 2025. I address these allegations thematically. First, begin by dealing with the allegations concerning my purported relationship with Mr. Madlanga. Secondly, I address the investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. Thirdly, I deal with the National Commissioner's point of contention. Allegations concerning my purported relationship with Madlanga. The National Commissioner alleges that it was indicated to him that I am close friends with Mr. Madlanga. I vehemently deny that I am or have ever been a close friend of Madlanga. Any assertion to that effect is false. No credible evidence has been produced to establish that I am friends with Madlanga. In actual fact, I was introduced to Madlanga as a service provider of the South African Police Service. He is known in the subs because he was at that time running a hospital of the South African Police Service at the college. He was awarded a healthcare contract at the police college. During or about January 2024, when I was acting National Commissioner, Madlanga set up an appointment to visit me at my office with his attorney. On his visit, Madlanga was indeed accompanied by his attorney. Madlanga complained that he had been awarded the tender but was not allowed to use the facility and thus not able to deliver in terms of the tender agreement. Madlanga also had a letter from Public Works.
Sorry to interrupt you, General. A question of clarity. When you say he complained that he'd been awarded the tender, was not allowed to use the facility, which tender are you referring to? Is it the Medicare 24?
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, you may continue. You were at Madlanga also had a letter from Public Works.
Madlanga also had a letter from Public Works which confirmed that he received a lease agreement to utilize the said building. I informed him that I would discuss the matter with the National Commissioner upon his return. I consulted with the National Commissioner on the issue upon his return. to the office. His response was that Public Works was not going to tell SAPS how to utilize the building. The National Commissioner asserted that Madlanga was not going to be allowed into the building. The tender nevertheless continued until May 2025. At this juncture, my involvement was limited to providing feedback to Madlanga on my interaction with the National Commissioner pertaining to his complaint, which I duly did. Paragraph 165, I reiterate that I had no prior knowledge of nor a relationship with Madlanga before the meeting held at my office. The suggestion that I am a close friend of Madlanga is untenable, given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024.
General, can I just understand that last part where you say the suggestion that I'm a close friend is untenable given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024? Does this mean, and maybe let me ask my question, beyond January 2024, did a friendship develop or not?
We didn't develop a friendship, but we have interacted. And not to a level or to a point where I could say we were now friends. But because of the fact that at that point in time, he was really not under investigation nor under scrutiny, like the minister, former Minister Brigitte Mabandla said at the ad hoc, the eyes then that looked at Madlanga are not the eyes that look at him now. At that point in time, there was nothing, but it doesn't mean that he became my friends. We were never friends.
You were never friends?
No.
Okay, thank you. You may continue.
The investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. The National Commissioner alleged that concerns were raised with him regarding my purported relationship with Madlanga, as well as apprehensions regarding my continued oversight of the investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. Notwithstanding these allegations, these alleged concerns, the National Commissioner did not at any stage remove me from the investigation. To the contrary, I continued to lead and perform investigative functions in respect of the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga matter up to date, on which I was instructed to stay at home. I further wish to place on record that my involvement in the investigation of this matter came about as a result of a family member of Jerry Boshoga approaching me directly. The said family member expressed concern that the team then assigned to investigate the kidnapping was not affording the matter sufficient attention. In that context, the family member requested that I specifically become involved in the investigation, and the matter was entrusted to me on that basis. I need to take time and explain this matter of Jerry Boshoga. Chair, this matter was reported, the timelines I will get in the report in terms of when, the date, but what happened, it was reported and investigated by Gauteng. And then it was investigated, but not much attention was being given to the matter. Then a family member...
When you say by Gauteng, who exactly are you referring to?
I think it's Gauteng Organized Crime. And then the family member, who is a director at the, works in government at the presidency, the Union Building, is a family member, is a brother-in-law of Mr. Boshoga. I think he's a brother to the sister, came to my office. I've got his name, I've got his contact details. And for the commission maybe to also maybe confirm the facts, so the investigators sit with him and confirm the facts. He came to my office complaining about the fact that Mr. Boshoga has been kidnapped for far too long and it looked like they're not enjoying much support. What I then did, I called all the structures. I called for the docket in Gauteng. I called intelligence investigators, those that were involved, and also I put a bigger team together. We were all sitting in my office in the boardroom, and I said, guys, we can't fail to deal with this matter. What is going on? And then all of them, they contributed, and then they started running with the investigation. We appointed a sergeant, I think Shihangule, and another colonel to lead the investigation. There's a report of what they are doing. I want to make a request, special request. Chair, I've never called any witness. I'm the only person, after so many allegations made against me by different people. In this one, I just want to ask the commission to just summon or call and come with a docket. Either Sergeant Shihangule or the Colonel Mashabela, who's investigating this matter, because the matter was not receiving attention at all. Since they investigated, the family was happy, completely happy. And may I also indicate that there's no any other person, senior, who's been involved in this matter than I have been, who pushed for this investigation more than I have done. And I'll tell you why. We have had, together with the minister, a meeting with the DPCI investigators. Now, this is a team that is able to trace a person without only looking at the phone and the SIM card, but whether you are on Wi-Fi or whatever. I expressed my dissatisfaction about this matter and invited their support. At the police summit, I was one of the speakers. I raised that, and I said at the police summit, I said, as a country, it is very worrying that a matter like this we are not able to resolve, where a person has been kidnapped for so long and we are unable to trace. We've got technology and we've got everything. At some point, the minister called the service providers to his office at his residential. With all the service providers for the communication, different. I raised the matter and say, everybody uses communication. Why are we not able to put all the resources that we want, that we have to trace this person? I went out of my way to make sure that this person gets traced. Now, my request is that the team that is investigating, Chair, if one of them could just come and say, this is what we've been doing, look at the docket before we got it, and what investigations we ran up until the docket, up until we were called. This thing that the National Commissioner received a complaint that I'm a friend to Ket Matlala, I don't know where it comes from. But
General, when did you put this team together? I don't know if you mentioned the date. You had said you'd called a meeting and then you formed the team. When was that?
After the same day the brother came to my office, I called a big team in the room, including intelligence themselves.
I understand. I'm asking when was that? The date?
It's like I was saying, I don't have it here. I'll provide the date.
Sure.
Because they all came in my office when the date, it will be in the investigation diary of the docket when everything started. But the report I have, I will get the report. I have it somewhere, but I'll show it first thing in the morning and say, yes, that report that I spoke about. So that it is clear that they conducted the investigation, even when I heard the National Commissioner saying that he was also approached by a Calvin Rafadi, who told him that General Sibia is Ket Matala's friend and cannot investigate this matter. Now, the investigation team were working hand in hand with the parent, with the mother, and they were very happy. Even when the team, they attempted to take the docket away from them, even generals in Tumula, apparently they went to try and speak to the mother so that the team can be changed. The mother refused. Even when one of the generals, I think it was General Mkwanazi, saying that they spoke to General Kumalo, saying that they spoke to the mother and the mother was complaining, and it is not true. I am asking the commission to just call the investigators to come with a docket as well and to demonstrate to this commission which team investigated this thing and made more investigation, because the team has been everywhere, even to Limpopo. They turned every stone. They followed all the leads. Even they worked with the family, whatever information the family produced. At some point, people were traced. I know of some colors that were traced, and some of them ran away. Some of them ended up being arrested for something else. But there were people traced. All I want to ask is that the commission should summon the investigating officer, because this matter was investigated thoroughly. The PKTT was never involved, not even once. Not even once. But be that as it may, I just want to say, Commissioner, my request, special request, please let this investigation serve as an example and put here to go through it and see who worked, who did the job, and who didn't do the job. That's all.
I thought I heard you mention the race of some of the people that were arrested.
Yeah, there
Am
was.
I correct? You don't need to repeat that. At the end of Mr. Makagula's evidence, I had prepared a very long note in which I wanted to comment on the fixation within the police structures to refer to the races of people. I never understand that, especially if race is totally irrelevant to what the person is saying or writing. It's a hang-up from the apartheid days, where even judges would write in judgments, A, B, C, D, a Bantu male did this and that and that, when being a so-called Bantu is totally irrelevant to what's being said. I noticed that in particular with police officers. I don't know why that remains with police officers. Anyway, please continue.
May I apologize, Chair, and to the people of South Africa if what I said maybe or may have caused some uncomfortability. It just came the way it came. I apologize, Chair.
Please continue.
Yes.
General, before you continue, you say that General Masemula's evidence that Mr. Bushoka's mother approached him and expressed unhappiness with your involvement. Similarly, General Kumalo's statement that the mother has expressed unhappiness, and you said that is not true, and you say it very firmly. Do you say it is not true because you have spoken to Mr. Bushoka's mother, and so you know that she never expressed that kind of unhappiness with your involvement?
Personally, I've never spoken to Mr. Bushoka's mother, and most probably I may not be in a position to say it is not true that the National Commissioner spoke to the mother, but my investigators, the one that are involved, told me that we're working well with the mother and she's happy. In fact, she said to me, I said to the family, if you are not happy with me being in on this case, I'm prepared to give it. And then the mother said, no, keep it.
Okay, so you're saying what General Masemula and Generals Kumalo and Masemula have said is not true because your investigators have said to you the mother is happy with the work that they do.
That's correct.
Is that your basis? Okay,
That's
thank
correct.
you. Thank you.
It is my request as well, Chair, that they should come and corroborate what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Okay, paragraph 169.
To the best of my knowledge, the team that I put together when I was leading the investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Bushoka continued to investigate this case until just recently in December 2025 when the docket was taken away from this team. But all along, the docket was with the team. Even when those allegations were made, the docket continued to be with the team. This conduct is irreconcilable with the suggestion that any genuine or substantiated concern existed regarding my suitability to oversee the investigation. If there were genuine concerns regarding my involvement in the investigation, it begs the question why no steps were taken at that time to remove me from the same. Now, allow me, Chair, to give this example. We had a journalist that was kidnapped at Mpumalanga, Kwamhlanga, with his wife. And then the matter was being investigated by organized crime, Gauteng. I got contacted by the journalist. One journalist said to me, General, our colleague has been kidnapped and it's quite a number of days now and nothing is happening. We were advised to approach you so that maybe you can put more energy and more effort. It was on a Saturday. I called for a meeting for a Sunday morning in Mamelodi police station. The investigating officer came with a docket. I brought another intelligence, a bigger team, including there was a private investigator, Mr. Calvin Rafadi, the same Rafadi. He was there because he's the one who was initially involved in the investigation. He's the one who was guiding us because we found him there. He gave us background and all the groundwork that he has done. And when we listened to him, it was assisting and giving us some leads. And from there, as the South African Police Service, we took over. I personally I went onto the ground myself. I spent the whole week in the bush looking for the investigating up until we traced. We arrested people and we found the bodies. Now, I just want to say it's typical in the work that I do as the head of investigations. When something big happened, it hits against my chest if we are unable to resolve that particular matter. The same applies to your Lusikisiki 18 murders. I'm just giving that example. I had to go on the ground up until we arrested everybody. So involving myself into the Rafadi, into the Jerry Boshoga matter is part of my responsibilities. It's not only the only kidnapping that I resolved. There's been some other, I don't know whether to say it, Judge, Chairperson, nationality of Indian origin, where the children were kidnapped. I got involved, and the children, when they were found, I was called, stood in front of them for the parents to thank me for my involvement. So I just want to say, I get involved in lots because of it's my work, and then I have to take the lead. It's not because of I'm getting involved because it's a Mr. Matala or want to protect somebody. Let me end it there. Go to paragraph.
Can you go to 171? That will conclude your point on Jerry Boshoga, and then we can move on.
Equally, it remains unexplained why the investigative team that I constituted was permitted to continue running the investigation until very recently. The absence of any intervention is inconsistent with the belated concern now raised and undermines the suggestion that my involvement was regarded as at the time as improper or prejudicial to the investigation. Now, the National Commissioner's point of contention. In his witness statement, the National Commissioner contends that upon my appointment as Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection in June 2023, 3 points of contention purportedly arose almost immediately, suggesting that what he characterized as a deeper operational complexities. I address each of these alleged points of contention in the paragraphs that follow. The first alleged point of contention is said to arise from what General Masemola characterized as my purported strong desire to assume direct control of the cold case unit which he claims has historically reported to the Office of the National Commissioner. When you look at the structure of the court case unit, the previous structure that was signed by the previous National Commissioner, Ketla Sitole, it reported to the detectives. When you read the structure that is signed by the National Commissioner himself, the structure, the court case unit, reports to the Deputy National Commissioner, to the Divisional Commissioner, who reports to the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection. It's not reporting to the National Commissioner. We all, in any event, report to the National Commissioner, but what I mean is that it reports to the Deputy National Commissioner. So for me, to want to get involved in the inspection, I want to know where this head is. I want to know how many dockets are there and are they being inspected. It's my job. The second one is, now I want to refer to page 439 to 444. I don't know, it's of the same document. The National Commissioner was not being truthful. Please refer to the structure. Now, I want to refer to the structure of the police that shows exactly that this political killing task team, who it reports to, and that he himself, he signed the same structure that shows that the political killing task team report to me.
File 3, General 445.
File 3.
File 3 of 10, 445. Not very clear, but I think that's the one you're referring to. Is there a better copy?
Yes, we've got a better copy. What I wanted to just submit. There's a more clearer picture because these things are very much important.
But that is the structure you are looking for.
That is one of them. It's one of them because I wanted the one that was in fact approved by himself. That shows that in his own structure, it reports to Chief.
That one, oh.
In the same document on 449,
449.
because this one is approved by General Masemola on the
It's
13th
fine.
of May.
I'll work with this one. Commissioners is the one that was approved now by the National Commissioner on the 15th of May,
May, yes,
2025. And then look at on the right-hand side where you see support shared services. Below support shared service section head anti-corruption. Then below that one, do you see the court case and forensic investigation somewhere there? Commissioners?
Yes, yes. So it's the third block.
Yes.
So the first block is shared services. The second block is section head anti-corruption. And then the third block is primary investigation service, including cold case.
Cold case. It reports to the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection. Now, it worries me when the National Commissioner say one of the issues, bone of contention that is my strong desire to assume direct cold case unit. And what worries me more, painfully so, is that he then says, because the cold case unit is where the Senzo Meiwa case is. I don't know what the National Commissioner was insinuating by so saying, but at this point in time, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go to the next bone of contention. If ever I have to address that part, why he mentioned the Senzomiwa matter, I'll get there when there's a need.
Well, General, maybe before you proceed, this structure that we are looking at, 449, that's in 2025. It's approved in 2025. So that doesn't tell us anything about the point that the National Commissioner was making, rightly or wrongly. What he was saying, as understood his evidence, was at the time of your appointment as Deputy National Commissioner, you curiously, according to him, became interested in getting the cold case unit to report to you. So we would need to see an older structure that was applicable at the time that you were appointed. If you can't do it now, you can do it tomorrow. I see that these pages are quite difficult to look at.
It's very easy, Commissioners. I do have the structure, even the previous one or the previous National Commissioner, but I have a document that I intend to produce, speak to, that addresses business case submission to improve the performance of the detective service in accordance with the SAP's annual performance plan. Now, in this document, I wrote a document, and I don't know, my legal team is here. They sometimes query me and say, you talk too much, or you run ahead of yourself. At this point in time, business case submission to improve the performance of the detectives. It is that document where I say docket allocated to various investigation units, but I want to read this document. At some point, the Commission will not have...
Have you provided that to us?
No.
General?
We have provided it, but it doesn't have this other list. And
Is it not complete?
yeah, you get a page like this.
Ms. Killian, are you able to assist us? Please.
General, I think while Ms. Killian is still trying to find that page, you may, in the meantime, want to look at page 447 of that same bundle where we were looking at 449. If you look at 447, what does that tell us? I know it's barely legible. Is that helpful?
There is reference to cold cases.
This is in 2022, approved by General Sitole. And if you look at that extreme left block, you will see it has National Commissioner, it has something that is not legible, then another one, and then it has Cold Case Investigation Unit. Does that help at all?
Yes. What I can say, Commissioners, is that the cold case unit, even when I just got employed as the organized crime component head, reported to me as even the budget as we speak now, as we speak, it was with organized crime component head of the cold case. So I was expected to actually sign the performance contract with the cold case unit myself. And it was very difficult because when I called the person who was supposed to report to me was not able to come. So you were in charge of all others, but there is this one that you don't know where he is. And when you say, but where are you? Can you come close? Say, no, I can only come here with the National Commissioner, maybe in his presence, because he felt that the National Commissioner said he must report to him. But at the same time, the National Commissioner said to me, no, he reports to you, but he will also report to me. Now, I want to bring a clearer structure from generals that I see from General Secretary, that I know that this one was actually, the cold case unit was actually falling under detectives and under organized crime. Mar, the main reason what I want to just point out, Commissioner, is that when I talk about the business unit to improve performance of the detectives, you will see where I'm coming from, and then why was it necessary that I also get to know those dockets and where they are. Because I wasn't only doing it with the cold case unit. I wanted to know. I have dockets that are, they have old Scorpions dockets that are with the DPCI that have been closed. Where are they? Because the system remains open. We have dockets that are with IPIT. They are closed. The system remains open. I have dockets that are within crime intelligence. The system remains open. They are closed. So now, what I did is I crafted a document which the National Commissioner ultimately approved. That was crafted by me.
That is
that page?
That is the document I think I was asking.
If I may assist, thank you, Chair. Page 458, Annexure SS 29.
Thank you, Ms. Killian.
It will assist commissioners if I really read this thing, because it leads also to an argument where we say there's a paragraph in, let's say, there's a paragraph in page 3 of the same document, paragraph 3.5.1, dockets allocated to various investigations environment. Now, I say the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection is the custodian of all case dockets within the SAPS. However, there are case dockets that are investigated by other environments for whom the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection has no control over, whilst he must account for such docket. These dockets are taken into account when the performance of the detective is being measured. Now, why I'm reading this thing specifically is that I was breaking down to say in the following respective environments. I don't know, because I want to read this thing, Commissioner, it's 3 pages. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to, or I must just speak to it, but it is important because it illustrates what the National Commissioner approved, because when I go to the recommendations, the National Commissioner approved 6.11 approved, 6.12 not approved for counterintelligence, for me to have the docket of counterintelligence. Approved for POP and ORS, 6.13 approved, that POE detectives report directly to Detective Directorate, liaise with OD, 6.14 approved, 6.15 requires expansion.
General, I think what you are concerned with is the cold cases, dockets, or investigations. Why don't you just refer us to where it says, here's General Masimula's approval that this should fall under me?
Okay, Chair, I showed a structure that he approved that says it falls under divisional commissioner who reports to Deputy National Commissioner. It was previously when I joined, it was reporting to me as a component head of, and then I'll produce that structure tomorrow morning. I do have that structure, but maybe I should end
Yeah,
it there.
you see, now you are referring to figures. This number approved, that number approved. That's very confusing to me. I don't know about everybody else. So that's why I wanted you to just zoom in on what's relevant to cold cases.
What I was trying to refer to here, Chair, without wasting the Chair's time, was that I wrote a document that seeks to account for all the dockets that are in the country in respective environment. And I said there are a number of dockets in respective environment, whether you're talking cold case section, whether you're talking IPIT, whether you're talking all the different, whether you're talking intelligence. Now, all those dockets, when I look at the fact that I have to account and say, why do we have dockets that are 15 years old? Where are these dockets? Are they closed? Are they open? Because this is what improves performance of the detectives. In the absence of these dockets and the system being updated, the detectives remain not performing. Now, my job was to say, wherever there are dockets, even in uniform, where they are not supposed to be having dockets, they have dockets. Even when you have dockets in at OR Tambo, ORS is uniform, but they have dockets. They are investigating dockets. Where are those dockets? Now, it is my job to seek to know where the dockets are, including the cold case dockets. If they have many dockets, where are they? Those that have been closed, and why some of them are more than, let's say, 10 years or such.
General, can you just show us where on SS 29 that is, the point you're trying to make, as I understand it, is that it is appropriate for you to call for the dockets from the cold case unit. Can you, that's the point you're trying to make, that it falls within your ambit, your jurisdiction?
No, what I'm trying to say, not to call for the docket. I've never called for the dockets from the cold case unit. But I want to know, firstly, if we say you, as a cold case unit head, you report to us, we must have you, we must see you, we must have a performance contract with you, we must know where you are, you must account, we must know how many dockets you have and what are you doing with those dockets, how far are they. You must see progress so that we can account for your work as well.
I see.
And they report to the detective. Even when I came back, I was told they reporting to me.
Okay, so on SS 29, you've introduced this document to show that the cold case unit falls under your structure.
Yes.
So if you could just refer us to the exact paragraph or page of SS 29. There's no need to read it into the record, all of the pages. It's quite long.
What is the evidence that you are saying?
Where on SS 29 does it show us, because this is why you've introduced it, to show that the cold case unit falls under you. You have oversight of the cold case units, correct?
Yes.
Right, so if you could just point us to exactly where on SS 29, and then the point is made and we can move on.
In amplification of the above, I attach here to marked SS 29 an information note referred to 26 of 1 prepared by Divisional Commissioner Detective and Forensic Service General Sintumule and approved by me, which was addressed to General Masemola regarding the improvement of detectives' service performance in accordance with the SAP's annual performance plan, page 458. This is what I wrote here, page 458. I don't know for which environment, for which file, 458. But as is apparent in the document, the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection is the custodian of all the case dockets within the SAPs. The information note expressly records the operational challenges that arises when case dockets are investigated within other environments over which the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection has no managerial oversight, while still being held accountable for the performance outcome associated with those dockets. It further confirmed that such dockets are included when detective service performance is measured, thereby reinforcing the necessity for investigative accountability to reside within the crime detection environment.
General, at page 474, paragraph 356, there is a mention, there's mention of cold case. Is that helpful to the point you want to make? Four seven four.
Capacitation in line with approved fixed establishment specialized unit. On 9 June 2021, the then National Commissioner General Sithole approved and signed a fixed establishment for the following new business units: murder and robbery unit, taxi violence, organized crime, including the court case. Yes, it's also helpful. It shows because this is the detective environment as well. All of this, including murder and robbery, anti-gang, these are that report to the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, including court case.
Thank you.
Should I proceed?
You can proceed with your statement.
It's 5
It's
p.m.
5 o'clock.
Perhaps let's stop here. Ms. Killian, may I request that you please assist in ensuring that we get legible copies of SS28, the whole of that. And we do see references to cold cases, but we can't quite see the line of reporting at some of the pages.
Will do, Chair.
Thank you. Let us adjourn and resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning.